let's take a look at it. We'll see what it's asking. I don't know if we're going to do anything too fancy here, but we'll find out. Okay, let's say that number A feels comfortable with number B. If A is not equal to B and B lies in the segment, that goes from A minus S at A to A plus S at A, where S at X is the sum of X's digits. So basically we have this range of numbers which basically goes from number A minus the sum of its digits to number A plus the sum of its digits. And we sort of know that this range of values is going to have like some magnitude to it, because the only situation under which this would be like a one element interval is if S at A is 0. And the only case under which that can happen is if A is 0, right? So the only situation where we would have like a 0 to 0 is if it's 0 to 0. Okay, anyway, the point is, how many pairs A and B are there such that A is less than B, both A and B lie on the segment L to R, and each number feels comfortable with the other? Okay, cool. Oh, see you later, Rainbow. Thanks for stopping by, my man. And good advice. I think we will also break this into multiple functions. I think this is actually a really good example to sort of illustrate that. So we're going to try to break this into multiple functions. What do you think should be the first function we start with? Because I'm thinking it should be one that adds the digits. We'll call it add digits. Okay, and it's going to take an input of num. Okay, so what are we going to do with this? We'll say let digit sum be assigned the value of 0. Ultimately, we want to return that, not just sum, digit sum at the end. And what do we want to do in between? Well, I'm going to do something just like the last one we did. I'm going to say while num, we're going to pick it apart. So we're going to say digit sum plus equals num mod 10, and then we're going to say num is assigned the value of math.floor of num divided by 10. Okay, so we're going to be sort of picking it apart, and okay, get sum, you think it would be better? So instead of add digits, get digit sum. There we go. Well, that's pretty like object-oriented of you, right? Right, Rainbow? Isn't that typically the way you do with objects, like getters and setters, that sort of thing? So like, yeah, if this was an object, I'd probably be more inclined to make that a get, but yeah, this works. I mean, the reason I was calling, what was I calling it before? Add digits? The reason I was calling it add digits before is because in terms of the way that that reads, it would be something like this. You know, we'd say add the digits, add the digits of our number, you know, like 79, for example. Whoops. Yeah, okay. So 16, right? We add those together. So as opposed to if it was a method of our number, then we could do something like, 79.get digit sum, you know? If it was object oriented like that, then yeah, I'd be more inclined to do a get in that case. But for now, we'll do add digits. I mean, the main thing is we want it to be semantic. The main thing is we want it to make sense to the user as much as possible. I wouldn't have an issue with calling this one get digit sum, but we're gonna go with this one for now. Okay, so we can add the digits, right? And it seems like it's working. So what do we want to do then? Comfortable? Yeah, so function. Oh, wait a sec. You know what? Maybe we should do some like prototype stuff. Like, could we do this? Could we do number.prototype is comfortable with is assigned the value of a function that takes in the other number, which is going to be b, and it's going to return basically whether or not b is in the interval, right? So it has to be, yeah, okay, so that's like an inclusive segment. Whoops, wrong spot for that. B is less than or equal to. Okay, so, and then I guess our number is gonna be called this, right? So like this minus add digits of this. And then this plus add digits of this. I don't even know if this is a valid way to work with a number. In fact, maybe just to check, we'll do sort of like a simpler version of this. Prototype, let's say, what's that called? Success or successor. Yeah. Equals function, which takes nothing and then just says like this plus plus or something like that. Or return this plus plus. I don't know. And then we do like return 5 dot successor. No, okay, it doesn't like that. Invalid left hand side expression in postfix operation. So what if I just do return this? Does it like that a little more? So we're returning 5. Return this plus 1. Would that be better? Yeah, 6. Okay, so that works. We can do it that way. So then 5 dot is comfortable with, let's use an example here. So we're saying 10 is comfortable with 9 and 11. Let's just use that. So we'll say 10 and 9. 9. Let's try that. True, it's comfortable. What about 4? Are you comfortable with that? No, not comfortable. How about 11? You must be comfortable with 11. Yeah, we're comfortable with 11. Okay, cool. So dot is comfortable with. Okay, cool. I suppose we could do the same thing for this one, right? We could do something like number dot prototype dot get digits is assign the function, or is assign the value of this function, and instead of calling it with num, we don't need to because now num is just going to be this. Yeah. Now my only worry is that this actually is going to destroy the number. So let's try this. So we'll say let x be assigned a value of 5. Return x dot, what are we calling it? Get digits. And it really should be get digit sum, but okay, this, it doesn't like that. Yeah, we don't want to be reassigning this. So we'll just make a num. We'll say let num, it's going to be this. And then we'll just set all these to num again. Let's get that on the clipboard. Okay, this. Let's run that. X.getDigits is not a function. What? Oh, is it because it's down here? Does it need to be upstairs? Is that the issue? Let's try that. Oh, okay. I guess that was the issue. Yeah, that's not going to be too interesting. 529. Let's try that. 529. Yeah, it checks out. So that's our get digits. All right, cool. So number.prototype.getDigits. This is community changes. Get digit sum. That's better. Get digit sum. Yeah. Okay. And then we can do this minus this dot get digit sum. Call it. And then plus this dot get digit sum. Call that. Okay. Now we're getting somewhere. So x dot is comfortable with what? Like what would it be comfortable with? 535. It should be comfortable with that one, right? Yeah, that's true. But if it was just 500, I think we're getting too far away because remember 16 was sort of like the radius of comfort for this one. Okay, cool. So this is good. Now let's just do a loop. So let's say let, what would we call a number that is comfortable? If something's comfortable, what should we call it? Let's say chillers. We got no chillers to begin with, but at the end, we want to return all the chillers we got. Okay, so how are we going to find chillers? Well, we want to go from L to R. And we basically want to know, how was it? Okay, so for let A be assigned the value of L, A is less than, strictly less than R, right? Because A has to be less than B, right? And B will go all the way to R, but A won't. And we'll just do A++ in there. And then we'll say for let B be assigned the value of A plus 1, B is less than or equal to R, B++. And in here, we'll say if A dot is comfortable with B and B dot is comfortable with A, we got ourselves a chiller. Whoops. ++. There we go. So is that going to work? Yeah, it's going to work. Bunch of pluses. Let's just make sure it passes all the hidden tests. So let's give that a real run, a control enter, and ooh, there we go. Okay, good stuff. So that's nice. Always good to see. Is this the only way we could do it? No, it's not the only way we could do it, but it's a pretty good way of doing it, I would say. Another way we could do it is sort of the not object way. So let's try that. We might as well have both of those in here. So let's confirm that we're done with that one. And we'll just put a 1 on that. And in fact, you know what? I'm just going to paste it in. I'm just going to modify this one. So instead of this being like a method of numbers, we'll say function comfortable, and then A and B. And no, this is not the comfortable one. This is the add digits of num. And now we don't need to say num is assigned the value of this. So I think this one got better. Yeah, I would say so. And then this one is going to be a little more complicated because it's going to be comfortable. And it's going to take A and B as inputs. And what we want to say is, yeah, we want to say that B is within that range. Oh, it actually doesn't matter because every time we're checking this, we're checking both. So add digits. I suppose we could have called add digits. We could have called it S to be like consistent with this one over here. Who cares? And that's B, and B is less than or equal to A plus add digits of A, which now makes me realize that should be a minus. And you know what? Let's do this. Const sum, yeah, it's going to be add digits, yeah, of A. And then this gets a little simplified, right? We can just make that sum over there. We can make this sum over here. Remember, if you're ever in doubt, if you're ever wondering like, well, should I make a variable for this? My policy is yes, if you're using it more than once. That's the simple answer anyway. I mean, it could get a little more complicated than that. But yeah, if you're using it more than once, probably use a variable. At this point, we're getting the wrong number for half of these. Why is that? We're getting like a way inflated number over there. Yeah, we're getting too damn many. Well, we're checking if A is comfortable with B, but we're actually not yet checking if B is comfortable with A. So we do need to check it both ways, which is why it doesn't really matter if we use like A for this part and B for this part or vice versa. So that's something I was just trying to mention earlier. Okay, so I think this is probably good, right? Yeah, I think that's going to pass all the tests. If we wanted something else that's like, I don't know, a bit of fun, I guess we could do something like this. Add digits could just be something like return num dot toString, and then we'll make an array out of that. So we'll just do a spread operator. And then from there, we'll do like a dot map that takes each one of these digits into an integer by multiplying it by 1, or even just putting the plus in front of it, right? So that's the quickest way to make it an integer. And we'll use a reduce to add all of these things up. So we'll say A and B get mapped to A plus B. And at that point, it still works, but is it better? I don't know. I don't think so, but I don't know. Let's do this. Let's just take all this stuff. Let's cut it all out. Let's reset it. Wait, no, that's not what I wanted to do at all. Okay, what I wanted to do was Control Y. Yeah, okay, there we go. What I wanted to do is take this, cut that, and then just undo to the point where it's like the way we like it. So like that, I guess. Yeah, I think that's gonna run. Yeah, okay, but I don't want it to run. I want it to take a break. You deserve it. Okay, and then we'll paste this one in. And like it looks in some ways nicer because it's like very short, right? But I don't think it's better. I mean, the reason I would say this one is not better than this one down here is because like, you know, even though this one's going through a loop, well, this one technically is too, because like the reduce needs to iterate through all of our numbers over here. And like we're taking our number, converting it to a string, converting that to an array. We're looping through that array to do this map. We're looping through it again to do the reduce. So even though this looks nice and it's like one line long, it's not as good as something like this in terms of our performance, in terms of just, well, I mean, does it make sense to convert something to a string and then an array if what you're looking for is a number? I'd say no. So anyway, okay, this is probably my fave, this one over here, but other ways to do it. If you want to make it objecty, do this. If you want to deal with some array stuff, do this. You know, these array methods like map. Now, I should probably mention something I'm doing here is this is called monkey patching, and it's basically where we change the prototype of an object that we don't own, something that we didn't create in the first place. You know, like, who gives you the right to modify number? Well, you can do it, it's up to you. But when you're getting into like larger scale projects, like let's say you're building, I don't know, some sort of plugin or an extension or something like that, you don't want it to have to conflict with some other stuff that someone's got installed, right? So like, if you're saying that number has this new prototype, but then maybe some other plugin says that number has this prototype, but it's something different, right? That get digit sum means a different thing. Well, then you're going to have conflicts and that kind of stuff. So anyway, point is, probably don't do monkey patching. We could make like a new type of number maybe that has like different properties that would make this one easier. I don't know. I suppose we could spend some time on that, but I don't think we're gonna. So did we submit this? I can't remember. Yeah, okay. It's submitted. We're all good. Let's get out of here. Nice job. We did it. You crushed it. Great job.